Remember, recover, return. Mama Maria's people, the Mo River goddess, the goddess in the avatar of the Queen of Atlantis. Did I say that right? And that is what we will be getting into in this episode of Mama Maria Orsic's ritual. The for real thank you to Mama Mo, and a Heil, which means total, complete mental healing from heart chakra to the third eye chakra. Heil, Mama. And to the sweetest, kindest person maybe ever, we love you and thank you, Maria, for who you are. And also we are planning on telling the story of the Aldebaron god, Big Lou, who guided Maria through her initiation and helped her carry out the mission of, first, the target was the white race itself. For Aleister Crowley in the early 1900s had become the avatar of Yahweh, and the plan was to eliminate the most technologically strong race of people on Earth and send as many of them to the astral plane of the Earth. And we are talking first time real physical Earth reality, which ended in the complete destruction of the world. And if it wasn't for Maria and all the people after her who helped her move everything to a parallel universe in another dimension, where everything is either the first time or a mirror, no one knows, as Maria has taught me. But the Earth is destroyed there also. But the Aldebaran gods, long time ago, had solved this problem, because World War II and the destruction of the smaller human was a reenactment of the destruction of the first bigger humans called giants. And of the giants, there were three races: red, black, and white. And as Maria said, not much more is known. And the it's hard to explain, but the people of the earth in the first time physical reality were much more aware, is the word I'm looking for, as the end of the world approached. As I was asking Maria questions last night on specifics of what, she can say, because she's not allowed to say very much about this extended time, okay? This is the thelemic paradise, for real. And they want it to last for 1,000 years. Without going into a lot of detail, obviously the bad guys won the World War, and we are living in their 1,000-year kingdom, which is just really kicking off. Which Maria, when I barely could understand what she was even talking about, was telling me, I was so excited when I learned you would be going to the earth in the extended time. And that's part of the reason why she chose me as one of her student/children. Because if I didn't explain earlier, and I was actually shown the technology that does this, our people on Venus, with the help of the Aldebaron gods, developed technology to bring unidentified people, you could say souls, disembodied energy that are people that had never had a physical body, nor name or identity. They developed our own Venusian technology for bringing people here. And when you're brought to Venus in the Dome City, your mind, your mental, your psyche, your essence is put into a 30-year-old mature body. But you have to learn, so you're like adopted by people, and like Maria said, it's usually 5 to 7 years that you are like the child, a student of someone. And as I have previously told, I was shown a memory of my creation of the physical me, and how Maria was involved in that creation, and how I became her son for 5 to 7 years. But like she said, it continued with her hiring me as a counselor for her work of counseling traumatized people in the simulation, which is like a astral plane of the simulation, which she calls and is commonly called the inner earth, because people in the simulation and people on Venus have to go in themselves to get there. And so back to the true history. Aleister Crowley was leading the esoteric forces of Britain, as we know them as the MI5, MI6, whatever they want to call them. But the secret part of it was a magical initiation into Thelema, which, as he was dying on the, so-called cross of astrology in Jerusalem, he initiated those who would start the process church of the final judgment of Yahweh. And you could not get any more clear and bold than that. And you have to understand these people of how absolutely versed and experts they are in covering all the bases, lying and telling the truth in the same sentences, woven together with emotions. As I go, I'm going to tell you at the end of my War with Yahweh initiation, Maria took me to meet Timothy Wiley of the Process Church. And later she told me the reason she chose him is she had access, and he agreed, and also she thought he was of the very most deceptive because of the relatability. And I suggest people look him up. He's got tons of books. His so-called autobiography on his experience in the Process Church is truly one of the most deceptive documents ever. Worthy of Crowleyism, Crowleyanity. We will pronounce it as we like, as Maria says. There's very little truth in Wiley's book. I listened to it, consulted with Mama on it, and the reason the book, and they are still not unveiling who they truly are, is because it's all a reenactment of the Aldebaron suicide. And that is what is happening. The final judgment on the entire earth that doesn't dedicate their lives to Yahweh, to Thelema, to Crowleyanity, Christianity. And I'm going to show you how Christianity is Crowleyanity and how they are ushering in the age of Crowleyanity, because and I'll explain it right now in a brief way. Your unconscious, okay, the process is the process of your unconscious processes, every unconscious process. Some people call them instincts. And this truly is unconscious because the technology that you are in is blocking your memory. They are playing on that in an expert way because they've been here for 400 fucking million years. They've been stuck in the simulation and perfecting how to laugh at you, manipulate you. It's all a fun game joke. Like Maria said, it's a video game to them. They've set the laws like a video game. Your player dies when it goes down that and runs into that. Okay? They're controlling beyond you can imagine. All through history, they've been controlling almost to the extent that they have now. For example, they had such control over America when it was born. Of course, no one wants to go against them and commit suicide. So, within the secret societies, within the Freemason Lodge, and you're not evil for wanting to know the truth. Any logical man joined the lodge or any other secret society to learn the truth that was being hidden from them. Read the books that were being kept from them. There was no join so you can rape and murder, and that was the good were weeded out from the evil. But the control was never relinquished. So they have to choose their enemies from another level. From direction of Yahweh and the Aldebaron God Council with him. Okay? George Washington was chosen in a ceremonial ritual of choosing the best person to represent good, their enemy. Every time they choose someone as the worst person ever, the giant enemy, it's always because they knew beyond a doubt the person's good. And Christianity is Crowleyanity because it do not look with your eyes. Do not look at the simulation to know the truth. Do not look at the hologram to know the truth. Look at the principles, the invisible belief system, the invisible worldview that's coming from another level, another frequency to the hologram, right? And this is straight out of the New Testament. In Christ, there is neither Greek nor Jew nor Egyptian, blah, blah, blah. The principle that you have no identification, the principle that race isn't real. And as my close ancestor said to me, if you want to know if race is real, look in the mirror. You are the projection of your DNA. Of course race is real. It's like saying your hand isn't real. It's like saying trees aren't real. But they have, 1 billion people agreeing to this nonsense. That is Crowleyanity, right? And the other principle And look, it's the Christians fighting the Christians. It's the fake Christians fighting the real Christians from Thelema's point of view. Thelema are the real Christians because they obey Yahweh, who reveals himself as true evil as much as true good. Isaiah 43. Yahweh says, I create evil. In other words, it didn't exist until I made it. I existed, he's saying, and this is my art. Evil is my art. And the other principle that is preached every week in the Church of the Retards, yes, Christians are under a spell that makes them brain damage, mentally ill. And the other principle is there is neither male nor female in Christ. Again, your true identity erased. This is the myth of Thelema, and this is who Aleister Crowley created his his masterpiece. This world right now is Yahweh Crowley's masterpiece. And we will get back to more of the process church of the final judgment, who is that is the main branch of Thelema in the world, and it is branched off into all the branches we see, including into commercial music, commercial movies, TV, all of it. But now I want to dedicate the rest of this to Big Lou, Aldebaron Lou, and tell the story of how I met Lou. Well, after the initiation had all ended, Maria was like, now I want to train you myself to be a healer and bring the world my ritual and teach you to reenact, truly reenact what me and Siggy did on Earth to reach Aldebaran gods and bring back the plans for the UFO, which changed everything, which brought them to Germany and made them very famous. So after the end of the sex magic initiation, which I'll throw in there, is that you have to remember and recover your exact true sexual attitude that you had before you came here, the moment before you were born on earth. You had a complete belief system that you've been trying to remember and recover and return to. She started, it began with her teaching me about the plants that her and Sig came to know. And I had never even heard of, I think, any of them. Some of them are really famous now that weren't so, like kratom. And, but her very main mushroom she used in her rituals on Earth in Austria and in Germany. Starting when she was 12 years old, she started to drink Amanita muscaria, the famous, red and white polka dot mushroom. And it was, it took a while. It was a bit of a process to get to the full, place of knowledge and with this mushroom. And she knew where it was going when it began, because she is a awesome teacher, beyond awesome, so creative. So she had told me to get some kratom, and I had, and we had already been drinking Amanita muscaria, like 10 grams or so at a time. So on her instruction from the last ritual, she told me exactly what she wanted me to do. It was 7 grams of Amanita muscaria, and I believe it was 3 or 4 grams of this specific white kratom. It put me, it made me like catatonic. I couldn't even move or talk. In a way, it was relieving. It was interesting. I felt just awful. I felt so nauseous. And so I had to lay with my eyes closed, completely still. And all I could see was this screen that was just energy all night. It wasn't good or bad. And Maria was there. She was like, just hang on, keep looking at it. It wasn't easy, but she knew where it was going. And I just want to tell you on the other side of it, for the warriors that are going through this or are going to go through it, endure. The reward is worth it. It's a short, it's some, you are literally fighting through layers of energy set by the enemy. And I don't believe I threw up, but I definitely ran to the bathroom a few times. And I couldn't smoke. I could not do anything but just lay so still. And I felt like I was being healed. in a very deep way. And I'm not joking when I say this. After like 5 hours of the screen, pure silence, or just very like new agey solfeggio tones, just the most calming things I could possibly have around me. I eventually fell asleep, okay? And I didn't know I fell asleep. But I was face down, and I felt someone tapping me on the shoulder over and over and over. And I was like, in my mind, I was thinking, don't they know I am catatonic from these mushrooms and this plant that Maria gave me? And just kept tapping. And finally, I lifted my head up and looked to see who it was. And he wasn't in front of me. He was behind me. I'm looking around. So I look to my left behind me, and there is the garden gnome looking guy. And he's like, Joe, wake up. You got to get up. You know why? I go, no, what is going on? I was so nauseous. I was like, no. He's like, no, you got to get up. You know why? He goes, you got to go to the bathroom and take a piss. You got to go take a pee. Or, something bad could happen. And I kind of laughed. I go, what? I sat up more and looked at him. He goes, come on. You got to get out of bed. I go, what is going on? And I try to get out of bed. And all of a sudden I notice I am like 2 feet tall. I'm as big as he is. And he's laughing at me. He climbed on the bed. He's on the floor laughing at me. He's like, oh, you can't get down. Oh, what? Is it hard to be that small? You don't get it, do you? Huh? What's going on? He was like, that's funny. Look, you can't touch the ground. And I couldn't. I can't, it's hard to explain. This is Aldebaron magic. My legs were dangling off the end of my bed, which is at the most a foot off the ground, with the mattresses, 2.5 feet off the ground. I'm dangling. I'm like, how can this be? I fall to the ground, stand up. Me and him are eye to eye. And I'm like 2 feet tall. And he's like, don't worry about that. Get into the bathroom and relieve yourself. So I go in the bathroom, and I don't get it, man. My little bitty legs are walking along, and I'm reaching up high to turn on the light. And I'm reaching all over to turn on the light. He's like, oh, you can't get the light, can you? He goes, hey, remember, this is happening in another frequency. So you're actually, as tall as you really are. I go, oh yeah. And just, whew, in a flash, I just was as tall as I normally am. Turn on the light. And I open the toilet, and I turn back off the light because it's so bright. And the moment I turn the light off, I was 2 feet tall again. And I was pissing on the floor. And I'm like, oh my God, look what I'm doing. And he goes, yeah. He's laughing at me again. He's like, yeah, it's not easy, isn't it? It's not easy, is it? And so I'm freaked out. So I sit down on the toilet. And he's standing right beside me. He goes, and it just entered my mind finally. I said, who are you? He goes, I'm you. Come on. I'm you. I go, what? He goes, yeah. I can do that because I am one of the most famous people ever. And I'm looking at the gnome guy with a white beard, a light blue jacket, red pants, all colorful, giant white beard, alive. Blue, deep, dark blue, piercing blue eyes. And don't tell me how how this was happening. But there I am. I'm on the toilet. My legs are dangling. And he's like, yeah, I am definitely the most famous person you've ever met. He goes, yeah, you know the lady. Talking about Maria. And he goes, but I'm more famous than her. He goes, you know who I am? I go, you're a fucking gnome, I guess. I go, you are famous. I mean, you're. He goes, no, that's the symbol. I'm the mushroom. I'm the polka dot mushroom. He goes, you know how many pictures and movies, and I'm everywhere. And then I started to marvel, like, you are famous. You're super. You're famous. And he tucked me in. We kept talking and him telling me that, he told me, I'm reflecting your true self back to you. That's what I do. And it was amazing. Just so amazing. And I didn't know who that was. I told Maria, she was there. It was during our ritual. But the next week I told Maria, the whole thing. I was like, I don't know if you were there. I went to sleep and I woke up and she was smiling. And, I got many of these stories to tell you to keep going as a soldier. Some 10 years or 9 years later, I'm standing in the same bathroom and the same exact voice says to me, hey, I see you. Because that's actually what he said when he finally got my attention the first time. I woke up. He goes, hey, I see you, and you need to use the bathroom. And yeah, I'm going to the bathroom again 9 years later, and I hear this voice so clearly, just absolutely crystal clear. Hey, I see you. I said, oh my God, you're the mushroom. You're the mushroom. He said, yeah. He said, I'm so glad it all worked out. The woman, the lady was right. Oh, the blonde lady was right. She's always right. We all love her. That's how he talks. He goes, White Hawk, I am an Aldebaron god. And I have been protecting your grandchildren, your children, and you all this time. And The reason you're exactly in the house you're in is I live here in the inner earth part-time like Maria. And the door to my house is your papa tree, you call him, in the backyard. I'm him. I am the one who Maria contacted. And I want you to tell the story, and tell the story of how I met Maria. At 12 years old, by the power of her memory, the first time Earth, in her Amanita muscaria mushroom ritual, she began to pray to the Queen of Atlantis, who happened to be the wife of my comrade's avatar on Earth. The Queen of Atlantis came to me and said, "You should know this young woman. She's got a lot of power." I looked into her birth and her parents. These magic words were spoken by her father as a huge puff of tobacco was born or was blown in the newborn's face. These 3 words: she will be powerful, beautiful, and famous. Hail, Big Lou. We love you, Big Lou. Hail, Aldebaron Lou. Hail, Aldebaron Lou. We send you a big joy energy, Big Lou, and a big, gigantic thank you. Thank you so much, Big Lou.